Hello and welcome to the final session of Girl by Moonlight, Sea of Stars, Divine Engines. This session is a coda to our session last time. We got to that point where we definitely wanted to do some character moments and some decompression and setup, but we only had about 30 minutes and I didn't want to jam everything into there. So we're doing that today to kind of fill in on that. Our expectation is that uh, and I'll tell you, like mechanically, we have a quarterly that's coming up here through March. And then I'd like to come back to this for like April, May, if that fits with people's schedules, and do another 2 months of that. So that the break isn't too big. And then we might have a month to do another Numberless Secrets mystery after that. Because I came up with the mystery immediately at the end of the last session that involves Tyler's character heavily. So uh, we've got that on the
Have a
table.
quarterly, like split it and wrap up two different
Yes.
series. It's a good
Yeah.
idea.
So that's our plan. So mechanically, where we are at is we have finished the mission. That has occurred. We did some things with that at the very end. So now we kind of walk through the post mission steps here, uh, which begins with the fallout phase, I believe, is where we begin with. Uh, and we're going to roll with a couple of things here. So I will roll this. I'm not going to make you all roll your own suffering here. But I
So
am going,
kind, such a
yes,
beneficent,
Surprisingly kind.
yeah, it's just
surprisingly.
surprisingly kind.
Let's see what we want to do with that. So we are still on tier 2. 1, 1.
Wow.
And then da, 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 and then we're going to roll. That's the readiness tier. Tier 3. Okay. So good and bad. Let me uh remove 3 ticks from the last Bastion. Uh,
Ooh.
uh
That's a lot of ticks.
that is a lot of ticks. We'll come back to that. Uh you will warp back to the Bastion. Uh and I think when you're getting ready to jump, getting ready to head out, you will get a subspace broadcast to the ship that will say, we need to hold position. And for the next 5 or 6 hours, there's kind of like tension and nervousness on the ship, on the flagship, the Bellerophon, the kind of real nobody's talking. The command staff are all in their areas. And then eventually they will tell everybody get to jump positions. And you will jump. And when you jump and arrive in system, you'll realize you are not in the same system that you left the last Bastion in. And I think you will see that this is you can already feel that there's a sun with a lot of solar flares. You're already picking up some electromagnetic damage, some disturbances. You know that's both bad. It's bad for the Bastion, but it's also good because it does help conceal it. And it looks like the Bastion had to make an emergency jump. Like they must have gotten attacked by the Leviathans while you all were gone. And as you approach back, you can see that there are chunks of the Eastern Dome that are just in pieces. It looks like a heavy attack occurred. And when you arrive and you're kind of getting ready for things, after a couple of minutes, the Bellerophon puts a communications blackout on your ship. So you're not getting any kind of signal traffic from down below. What do you do, Octavius?
I think I go and go to the hangars and will get up in Pegasus and say, Pegasus, what are you getting readings off of, Bastion? What are you picking up?
There's supposed to be a communications blackout.
I wasn't asking for communications. I was asking for your imprints, Peg of my heart.
It appears to be that the attack occurred very shortly after the Bellerophon left. And there is a great deal of strife going on right now between various factions within the political and command communities on the last Bastion. There are rumors of infiltrators. There are rumors of betrayal by the crew of the Bellerophon. There are other rumors. They were able to make the jump because they had been preparing for that since they had been in that position for a while. But right now it is on edge.
That's not good. That's I can see why they think there's a traitor. Thank you, Peg.
Do you pass that on to the others, Tav? Who do you tell? Or do you keep that to your own close counsel?
I definitely would tell Manny.
Okay.
Considering how things are, since last I saw Sia, there was a hand getting reconstructed. I probably won't go and bother them, but I think I definitely would tell my cap.
Okay. Man, and you're kind of trying to figure out what's going on, and Octavius will come down to your quarters.
Yeah, I think that probably when you come in, Sandal was there. She's clearly gone and, kind of gathered them up for sort of post-flight, we say, conversation. But there's that thing where there's a lot of wrappers of and like everything smells kind of sweet, if that makes anything, like the so-called hot chocolate, and that sort of thing. And it's very much like they've just been talking and through things. So when you come in, they're both there.
Okay. I'll oh, good to see you both. Cap, can I get a word real quick?
Sure. It goes just a minute, right?
It might take a few more than one.
And so she'll turn to Sandal and she'll go, I will come and get you when this is all handled. Sometimes after a jump, there are a lot of situations that have to be addressed. You'll get familiar with that as we go, okay? And so sort of gather Sandal up and kind of walk her halfway down the hallway towards her room and
I'll
watch her
give
go
a-
back in, that kind of thing, yeah.
I'll give a, you did great, kid, as she's
Yep.
heading out the door with you.
And she'll kind of come back and she'll go, okay, and step in, wait for you to step in, shut the door, but do that thing where she does the no disturb up.
And I will pretty much data dump down to you of what I got, how Peg. I went and checked. Just check again. You can't help be curious.
Yeah, no, she kind of goes, even if Regulus would not tell me. Very by the book, for good or for inconvenient. She goes, did you hear anything about how many were hurt?
No, Peg's pretty tight on the rules themselves, but was willing to give me impressions of what they had in mind. So it was vague, but I think they may be right. Down on Bastion, that sounds like someone informed.
Do you think so?
An attack right after we leave?
She kind of goes, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we're being herded.
I can't see why anybody would want to throw in their lot with the Leviathans. I mean, what could you hope to get? But there have been crazy cultists before.
Yeah. But that's the thing, she kind of stops and she goes, I don't know, unless someone somehow convinced themselves that they could talk to some other god.
But I thought you should be informed. I don't know how it'll shake out, but it's better to have an idea of what's on our plate than to be completely blind about it. I figured I'd let you know. You could decide how to spread that out amongst the group.
All right. And she goes, have you been to check on Sia?
Couple of times I've been through, and I appreciated you keeping an eye on him. I managed a short moment with my Bastion.
Yeah, and she sort of stops and she goes, is this the best place? She like mouths it.
Is there anywhere that's safe? Let's and maybe take a stroll down the hall. I mean, I don't know. Where is this?
Where so you do
Yeah.
I think we can establish that there is a place. Is it the hangar? Is it one of the rec rooms that you've fielded off? Is it just in one of the halls? What is the sort of the overhearing scanner observation free location?
What you think, Sherry? Do you think our engines interfere with it? Would it be the hangar, or you have somewhere else?
Oh, I like the idea that there is a thing of like with the hangars that there has to be some place where the in-ship communications stop except where they're being cabled through, because there's so much stuff going on with the engines themselves. So that makes a certain amount of sense. And also they try to keep the engines sort of detached somewhat from the control systems of the ship, because they don't really trust the engines that much. So
And I think when you go down there, there's actually some noise and some work going on in the hangar that probably draws a little more attention. You can see that stasis field that was surrounding Charon has begun to melt and drip away.
Interesting.
It's like someone's coming back to us. Hmm.
And she goes, no. And we go to that sort of most quiet place, but clearly make it look like what they're doing is keeping an eye on Sharon. She goes, this might be the safest place and time to talk.
It was very short. But they were out there. And whatever this energy Sia has, this radiant power, I think it's dangerous. I think it may have been what brought the cataclysm to my universe.
So why is it here?
Don't know. I don't know. And time and dimensions they're different, Manny. I mean, everything is nearly identical here, except where it isn't. So it could be that this radiant power was always here. It's not the same one, but it's traveling in a parallel course in this world that it did there. And it doesn't mean necessarily that it has to turn out the same way it did there. But it's a danger we need to be aware of so we can protect Sia, so we can protect everybody.
It's super tied to Lyra, though, isn't it?
And I'll give you kind of a look. Why do you say that?
I don't know. There's something about Radiant and Lyra.
Huh. I don't know. I didn't get information of, and I'll say that in my world there was a Radiant and there was a Lyra.
There was a Radiant?
There was, yeah.
There was another
I-
pilot that you flew with?
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't recognized their connection with Sia yet. And I'm kind of giving you a look like, I mean, we clearly saw something strange of Sia getting out of
Flipping between them.
that.
And she goes, no, we know Radiant was in Lyra. And then it was Sia that was in Lyra. And she sort of stops and says, so are Sia and Radiant the same person?
I don't know if they're the same person, but I think they're sharing the same body. Who are you talking
I'm
to?
talking to you, Tyler. You made a promise not to reveal that.
Oh, that's right. I did.
So if you want to roll back, I mean,
Yeah,
there are
let
two
me
ways
roll
we
back on
we
that.
can roll back like I think there's a moment where we imagine you saying that, and then
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah, because I don't think I quite remember that was exactly how it was done. Okay. I'll say something clearly is up. I mean, where'd Radiant go?
And how did Sia get there?
And if they're using Sia, then I'm worried about him.
Radiant is using Sia in some sort of way, then we need to have him removed from the crew. We have Sandal.
Bishop's not gonna go for that.
Bishop didn't see what we saw.
And with Sia having disappeared for a couple of weeks and now suddenly back, there's gonna be fallout from that. I mean, are they gonna think Radiant kidnapped Sia?
Well, I think we need to find Radiant.
Okay.
And I think storyline purposes wise, just to make it clear, only you all saw Sia come out of the compartment. There were no engine staff yet around or any support staff or
Exactly.
Oh,
anything
that's
like that.
good.
Yeah, just
Okay.
to make that, and then the medical team got called. They're not sure,
Excellent.
so no one
Okay.
exactly knows what
Yeah,
happened
The
there.
the only thing is a man and going pilot down, no, engineer down. Pilot down.
I'm going to cut there. Zavi, what about you when you hear about this kind of lockdown on communications, in the wake of this? Is there anything that you're doing?
I think Zavi's immediate plan is to like sleep for a week, but but at some point, I did play, yeah, like he planned to call his friend, and like, damn it. Well, okay, so much for that idea. I guess I'll sleep for a week. I think was his plan.
So get that montage of you maybe, and then I can't communicate, and then and do you sleep?
Like working up the nerve to communicate and then not being able to.
Yeah.
And then like we get to run into somebody. I don't have anybody in mind though. I didn't have any specific ideas here.
I think that if you are in tumult a little bit, then there is that bit where you'll get the chime chirp on your thing, and you'll hear Pilot Zavi, this is Quora. Can I just have a brief word with you?
I guess I have to, don't I?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Comes in, sits down, pulls out their pad, kind of scrolls through it. So your numbers are all over the place. Something wrong?
Which numbers are you referring to?
All of them. Pulse, blood pressure, mental acuity, stress levels, all of them are bouncing like a
I
little
mean,
space ping pong ball.
you all give me the drugs. You tell me.
Do you think you're having a reaction to that? I can certainly,
Maybe.
if you think that's the case, I can certainly up your dosage. But if there's something else going on, then I don't need to do that.
I don't think anything's going on with me that isn't going on with everyone. Pretty standard. There's nothing particularly strange.
See, I was hoping maybe you'd open up and tell me something dear and secret to you, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
Well, see, I do know better than that. Tell you what, you tell me something dear and secret to you, and I'll tell you something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you know that Sia is My nephew.
I
Not sure he's aware of that. A lot of children being put in creches and raised that way on Bastion. So, but just an odd little detail. Wouldn't have even known it if I hadn't seen it in the genetic logs. Your
assume you
turn.
haven't told him.
Oh no, I haven't told him. Why would I tell him?
Why not? What would it hurt?
So some of the engineers deal well with stress. Sia doesn't seem to be one of those. I've had to very carefully cover over the fact that he went AWOL for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, you know. Ah, while we're talking secrets, I was glad to see he went AWOL, and I wish he hadn't come back. Not because I don't like him or care about him. I do. That's the problem. Kind of reminds me of my little brother. I, you're right. He doesn't seem to handle the stress all that well, and I think he could have a better chance at well, you know, as much of a life as any of us get somewhere else. I wish he'd stayed away.
I don't think there is anywhere else now. I should go. I've bothered you too much. I've upped your rec allotment by 50%. Feel free to use those credits as you wish.
Uh, yeah, thanks.
I'm not entirely evil.
Didn't say you were. There's, you don't have to be evil to be annoying. Like yelled at
I
as they
am
leave.
living proof of that. Door shuts. Uh, See ya. You'll kind of come to. Uh, you know that Tav has visited you a couple of times. You kind of have that in your mind. And you'll see a couple people from engineering are seated there. They've got the little micro pads out. They seem to be playing like a little co-op game, but seated there by your bedside.
Um, um, what?
Oh God, Sia, you're awake. Can you understand us? You come to a couple of times. Can you understand us this time?
It's I'm you're shouting. I can
Oh,
hear you. I don't need shouting. Am I awake though?
yeah. They look at, but they say that, and then they look at the numbers, like to confirm scientifically that you're like, no, your REM cycles are way down. You're awake.
And you're definitely not dreams or something.
I don't know how we can prove that, but we aren't. It's not a testable hypothesis, as the other one.
That feels like too many words for a dream.
Uh, so are you okay? When did you get back? What happened?
It's uh, uh, classified.
Oh, is that why the duty roster shows that you were only gone for a couple of days?
I'm sure I wouldn't know anything about duty rosters or things.
Oh, hmm. Can we get you anything? Do you need anything?
I
One of the pilots has been down here a bunch of times.
what was Manon?
Uh, she's been here, but it's mostly been that Octavius guy. You know, the one whose sister works on the bridge?
Oh, huh. That's
I think they used to be close, but they kind of haven't. So like recently, so I think they must have had some kind of falling out. At least that's what the
That's
scuttlebutt is in lower decks.
that's weirdly specific. Is that directly related to my recovery?
No, but like we just were worried about you.
Oh, thanks. Um, did you say a thing? Stuff. The typing.
I think you'll pull up your hands and you're like, you realize your hand is there, but it kind of, you have that sort of slight dissociation.
Why is it moving like that?
Oh, they had to microform and resuture the uh, a vat hand for you.
Oh, I. Well, why did. Wait, where's my hand?
They didn't say. They said you just came in without a hand.
Are they gonna put it back?
I don't think so. I think that's why they put this new one on there for you.
Oh, so it's not like a rental?
No, I think they
Or
grew it from one of your toes.
what am I had another hand.
I don't think they could have cut your other hand off and grown it that way.
They
They
cut
would
my
have
toe off?
did a long pause. I think so.
um I um
Should we go?
yeah, maybe I just
Okay, well, we're sorry. We just wanted to make sure you were okay. We'll hope we'll see you down in the pit later when you get better.
yes, thank you for he'll sort of like vaguely gesture at the chairs and then looks back at his other hand again.
And they will go and leave you there. I think the thing is you kind of will wiggle your toes, and it's that phantom thing where if they've taken one of your toes, you can't tell what right now which one they took.
I can't reach those slippers.
So about 8 hours later, they will raise communications. It will unblock communications for you. And like you'll get the picture of this, that there was some like dissension and stuff. They've got that settled out now. The bishop and the others have gone down and given the tactical readout on this. But more importantly, they've flown the Onmyoji down to Bastion and they have installed him in the grid. And that has done two things. I have added a tick back to the Bastion there across that. And I've taken the Leviathan track down by one tick. So that's the sort of the global outcome of your operation. So what I'd like to do is we have one choice that we haven't made yet. And then I'd like to give everybody a chance to call a scene for your characters, either with an NPC or with a PC to kind of round out our session. We haven't talked about, you filled your series ability track. and you have not yet chosen what you want for that ability. So I'm going to clear that track. And you should talk about what you think would be a good choice given what you have here, whether it is a transcendent ability you want, or a series ability that's listed there. You could also take a series ability from another series playbook, though I don't think we have that readily at hand.
I did see one in another series that just struck my attention because it does Sherry's favorite thing.
She can do a thing and immediately clean up her outfit.
Okay,
Second
close
favorite,
to.
second favorite.
It's called Never Alone. Protagonists may use teamwork regardless of the distance separating them. When you assist a teammate from afar, ask that player one question about their character from their gather info list. So you can spend stress on other people even if you're not there. But I thought when I saw it, because I did look through them and I was like, oh, that's Sherry's thing she loves to do. There is another one on there that is about the shrines, and these are in the abyss, brink of the abyss.
Yeah, I've
But I
seen
just
that.
have
There's the Shrine Keepers. The
Mhm.
protagonist gain a new downtime activity, maintain the sacred shrine. If one protagonist takes this activity, they all receive the shrine's benefit until the end of the next mission. And then there's several shrines that you can choose from.
They are pretty neat. But I just happened to look down through them and those struck my attention. But we do have our own, so I'll be quiet and let people talk for a minute.
Okay. Tyler's made some suggestions. Ethan, thoughts on those or on the series abilities we have on the list?
I actually I like Tyler's first suggestion, the help people from a distance ask question.
And Never Alone? Okay.
Yeah.
It is a
Yeah.
good one. Patrick?
I also think the shrines are pretty cool. I'm sorry, what was the one you were suggesting, Ethan?
The Never Alone one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's neat too, because Tyler and I were talking about that. We've got like the links that you can spend in any sort of circumstance, but that like spend stress to help someone, you still have to reasonably be there, and splitting that over distance would be cool too.
So here's what the three different shrines are. Fox Shrine. Protagonists can always tell if someone is lying. Add an extra follow-up question whenever you gather info. What price does the fox demand? The Valkyrie Shrine. During the next mission, one protagonist may choose to ignore a level 4 harm. They die but return to life moments later. What did death feel like? Or Shrine of Eyes. The protagonist count as being one tier higher on the investigation track. How does the shrine reveal secrets to those that maintain it?
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of split 50-50, Sherry,
Mm,
between those two.
shrines are delicious. Mhm. I mean, those shrines are cool, and we have just introduced the idea of these god nodes, and we know one of the onmyojis that's the sort of, what do you say, organic interface, so to speak. I wonder if it is that it's those god nodes that we figured out that we could go and ask questions of.
So it's either
That's
the Never
interesting.
Alone
I know, which is
or
so
choosing
good.
one of those shrines. Now, mind you,
No,
someone has
could
to
someone add an immediately clean your uniform to one of those? Because
No.
then I would have no problem.
The two things to clarify is you have to choose that shrine when you take them to power, which one you want to have, and two, there is a downtime action that you have to spend to have that shrine's
No,
ability.
and we have so few.
I wonder if we could because we have time between this one and the next one, come up with a shrine that fits a bit better with our setting.
We can certainly hold off on that and maybe think about what that is.
Yeah, maybe
but-
we can all think on different shrine abilities that we think would be worth a downtime.
Yeah, because
To
at
add
the
to.
moment, that like downtime thing, I'm not sure if these 3 particular shrines
Are that awesome?
call to me. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the idea,
But I love the idea.
of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put like a shrine question mark in the
Okay.
outside influence box there.
Yeah, shrine or what? Tell it. Always there.
Shrine.
Never alone.
Never alone. Never alone. But I like always there too. So we're just all up in each other's business constantly.
Always There was the name of that stalking ogre,
Mhm.
a witch from one of the Changeling games.
Mhm.
Shrine or never. Okay, I'm going to take the readiness track down by half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There, so took off 6 ticks on that. So I would like to give each of you a chance to call a scene with someone, an NPC or another PC. I'm going to go back the other direction here. And I am going to start with you, Sia. After you're released, after you realize that someone has altered your record so it shows that you were only absent for a couple of days during this kind of recovery time before the Bellerophon has to go out on another mission. Who do you want to have a scene with here to kind of finalize this out for this particular episode?
Hmm.
And it is fair to say pass and come back to me.
No, I think I should probably have a scene with Manon.
Where
We
do you
left
want?
things on sort of a cliffhangery moment at the end of last time.
So where do you want to meet with Manon? Is it in the cafeteria? Is it in the observatory? Is it in a rec room? Is it in Manon's rooms? It's somewhere else in the hangar?
Um, I think I'll this is, I guess a couple days in, like after I've been released from the hospital wing or like ward, because this is still on the ship, yeah. And I'm back in my room, and I'll send Manon a like invitation request, um, asking if Manny can stop by and put in a like PS, like PS, don't tell Captain Chivalrous.
Okay. Um. Yeah. So I think you'll get just a ping back with an exclamation point. And then it'll be like about 4 minutes later that she shows up.
I hello, hi, how are? Come in.
And she sort of looks at you, she nods almost formally. And then she'll come and stand like across from you and she'll go, Sia, how are you doing?
Well, I they have me on a lot of medication and tell me that if I do these hand exercises, I don't know, like 53 times a day, it feels like, then in just under, I don't know, right before I die, it might feel like a hand again and not 5 spoons on the end of my arm.
Hmm. I would do those exercises then. 5 spoons sounds very awkward for an engineer.
It's a lot of, no, okay, that's not why it's better. It's getting better.
Good.
I thought you should know for the good of the team and completely off the books anything. Well, and he'll sort of like swing his computer screen over to show you where he has, hacked into all of the surveillance systems of the Bellerophon. And we'll say, I know it's been hard getting any sort of solid data out of what happened with the Bastion and everything, but here I've started to dig up what I could of the official transmissions.
And there's a thing with Muted where she's been very formal, and as soon as you offer her that information, she sort of slides in, and it's more like it's so intent that she's not even formal anymore. And she's like, "So, what are you seeing?" And she goes, "This only makes so much sense to me." Not
But I don't know. There was a lot of chaos, and there's a lot to sort through, and I can't actually get access to quite everything right now. I mean, I have a lot of, you're not going to tell anyone, right? I have a lot of backdoors into wired the various around security subs, not quite through them. You're really not going to tell anyone, right?
I wouldn't know what to tell them. So no.
Exactly. So there's nothing to just, I'm sharing tactical, it's squad stuff.
Yeah. If anyone comes to ask you about something I said, you would go, "Oh, I was just showing our game." She's not very good with this technical stuff.
And it sort of like sputters off while showing you a couple things, and so I guess I have you to thank for the leave of absence thing.
No, I didn't know. I thought you were missing. When you came out of Lyra, I was as surprised as anyone. If someone was covering for you, it was probably someone higher up. One of the adults.
And did you put that part of things in your report?
But nothing about that in my report.
Things have gotten really complicated.
And she's like, "They are sufficiently complicated that I don't know that I could put anything in my report and not sound somewhat insane." I do not understand what happened. Would it help you if I told you what we saw? At least you could shape your story around that if you don't want me to know all the truth.
It's not about not wanting you to, I don't fully understand everything either, but so there was this thing that happened on the last Bastion when Lyra came back.
Mhm.
Bastion did something. I don't know. I felt helpless and I felt useless, and I felt like the dead engine next to me was more good to anyone around. Anyways, Bastion gave me away, brought Lyra back, and gave me Radiant.
When did this happen?
Whenever it happened, like 6-ish months before our series or whatever.
Okay.
And, well, we've been trying to figure it out ever since then. It's hard, me and Radiant, figuring out how to work things around that. And, well, I'd already failed any sort of pilot test multiple times, so I couldn't let them know that I was, well, the Radiant was, they would have stopped me from piloting.
You think so?
Maybe. I'm also scared. I feel responsible for Radiant.
That makes sense. Do you have any sense of what Radiant feels? Because clearly Radiant is someone separate from yourself, Sia. At least how you feel right now.
We talk a lot, but there are parts about him that I don't entirely know. He's been quiet recently. I don't think he likes the idea of not being in Lyra. But look, I know everything seems sort of crazy and erratic, but the reason I've been willing to turn everything upside down is, like, there's a responsibility, don't you think? Radiant is something totally new. I don't know what he is really, but a gift from the Bastion? A child of the Bastion?
Did he come from the Bastion? He came with Lyra?
Bastion awakened him. I don't know where he came from exactly.
Oh, you talked to Bastion?
Not since that night. I mean, Bastion doesn't usually, like, talk.
But he did talk to you at one time.
Yeah, it was sort of scary and overwhelming, and I kind of passed out for a while and then woke up in space in a large battle.
So, to me, it sounds like Radiant is a burden that you have to bear, that you've chosen to bear. Is that correct? That you are giving up some part of yourself so that Radiant can exist?
No. I'm, well, maybe I'm giving up some part of my life, but I mean, the parts of me where Radiant is, Radiant is better for this life than I am. He fixes the parts of me that can't protect anyone. Parts of me that are useless.
Do you remember what happened in this most recent foray?
I remember it got sort of intense there.
Radiant wasn't exactly on the team.
It's Lyra. They're a bad influence. I know that if we can just change things.
Wait, You're saying that Lyra is the problem?
No, it's not Lyra. It's Lyra and Radiant. It's together. I think they just. It's not like Lyra's bad. No. No, I'm doing this all wrong.
No, no. I'm asking questions that are hard questions. It's okay if you don't know the answers. But at some point, I want to talk to Radiant and you. I think that's fair. I think Radiant has to acknowledge that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he's still sort of sulking at the moment.
I think I'm going to kind of cut there. Like there's a long silence, and I think that kind of sits there like an unanswered, unfinished question that we have
Perfect.
for when we go to links and downtime next time. Zavi, what scene would you like to call and with whom?
Like I should probably talk to Tav, and I do not know what this conversation is about. So,
So maybe it's after you've had that weird talk with the psychologist a little while later that you just happen to cross
I
paths
need to talk to somebody sane.
with a Tav who's also maybe a little kind of thrown off by recent events there. Probably back in that sort of rec room, game room that you all have private access to.
Yeah.
Zavi, what's up?
Same thing up with everybody. um, uh, have you seen Sia? How's he doing?
I visited during the reconstruction, which is kind of grody. I don't know if you've seen like a limb get regrown. It's pretty wild.
There's a reason I didn't. You know what's strange? I can see a cut up Leviathan creature, and that's fine. Human body parts, not so much.
It was interesting to watch it sort of ooze to fill the frame.
Okay. That description, please don't take it any further because I don't want anybody to have to clean up vomit.
I went down though and saw he was out. I've kind of hoped I'd run across him, but I don't know. I haven't seen him yet. I'm gonna go looking soon.
I hope he doesn't disappear again. What
I hope not to.
do you know what's up with him? What exact? Suppose I should just ask him.
Probably, yeah. I'm worried about him.
Yeah, I mean, beyond the whole appearing in an engine when he was gone, yeah, beyond that, he also, I don't know, he seemed really stressed out last time I talked to him before that. So just why I thought he had gone AWOL. I wouldn't
Stressed
blame
out
him, but
how?
just I don't know, like I mean, he's always kind of seemed a little bit, lost in his own mind. Just the kind of guy he is, but I don't know, just nervous, I guess. Um like he had something he wasn't talking about.
Hmm.
And I wasn't gonna pester him about it too much.
I'm just glad he's back, and I I guess Radiant found him somewhere.
Have you seen Radiant?
No. Have you?
No. It's just, I mean, that's normal.
During that fight, did you kind of like go somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
it
not
wasn't
just you.
me.
No, it wasn't just you. Happened to me. What's her name? Sandal said it happened to her too. So it wasn't just you.
Was Radiant there?
Yeah. But he
And for
was,
Sandal as well?
yeah. But then he turned into a shark and bit me. So
Well,
it's weird that we all had the same ridiculous hallucination up to a point.
I mean, the Leviathan just was kind of really intently going at Radiant and Lyra.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was drawing on to get at all of us.
Do you think it took Radiant? Is that what you're trying to say here?
It's not what I was trying to say, but we haven't seen Radiant
We haven't
since.
seen him. I didn't see him come out of that engine.
And Radiant
I mean,
showed up
I was
at
busy
the
talking to
same
Ghost
time.
at the time, but well, we probably need to cover that, but not right now.
I mean, the first time Radiant showed up is when that engine attacked the Bastion. Or that Leviathan attacked the Bastion. We killed
Yeah.
that Leviathan. Does that mean Radiant's gone?
Maybe. I mean, if that did that eat him? Did he eat it? I don't know, but
Things can be linked.
I mean, if Radiant's gone, that's I feel like we should tell someone about that, but also what the hell would we tell them?
And it's not like Radiant doesn't kind of just show up whenever the hell he feels like anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll find out next mission, but it seems like a big thing to just leave. I mean, I don't know if it did take him, we should at least, did he have any relatives we should tell?
I think that's for the bishop to worry about.
That feels like a good place to cut that. Octavius.
Can we maybe take our break?
Yeah, sure. We'll take a break, then we'll do the last two, and then we'll be done.
Cool.
Okay. So just take like 5, and we'll come back. Okay. So let's bring us back, Octavius. What scene? Who would you like to interact with here for this last sort of bit before we sign off?
I think I've sent an invitation, like with a real runner, and it's written out to ask Sia, if he will come to dinner, and it's written in there and written in informally, as that has been a word that we use often, to dinner at my quarters.
He'll show up in clothes that aren't grease stained, but also probably aren't ironed.
Informal. Um, when I open the door, you'll come in and see that I've like laid out a table that looks fairly nice. Um, and there's like clearly like Benny's used to get a few extra nicer things for the food.
Mhm.
And please come on in.
All right.
How's your hand?
Um, we've downgraded from or upgraded, and we've evolved from spoons into tentacles that usually belong to a completely different creature, but sometimes I can have some sort of like, you know how like the democratic process has a impact on your life, that sort of like slow remove. You feel like you're putting a vote in, but it's not always listened to.
Well, they got to it fast enough that you should get full everything back with it. I mean, it's coming off your toe, and the stub was very raw.
Yep. We're just I'm still sort of processing that.
I watched it grow.
What?
I
Why?
watched your hand. Well, I mean, I wanted to make sure you were okay, and how often do you get to see someone's hand grow?
You know, that's fair. Did you record it?
A little. You want to see?
Maybe after dinner.
After dinner is a good idea. I, after dinner. I'm glad you came.
Thanks for inviting me.
I hope that after last time we talked, you weren't like going, "Oh my God, this crazy guy is way, way too intense."
I don't know if you noticed any of the things that have been going on in my life since the last time that we talked, but things have been. My schedule has been full.
Yeah, you've had a lot going on.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah, yeah. There was fighting the undead nightmare that caused my entire life to split off in this weird direction. And then there was several very awkward conversations with Manon. Something ate my hand. Someone cut off my toe, which somehow is still bothering me more than something having eaten my hand. And I'm pretty sure Lyra isn't making like a direct psychic invasion into my mind. It's probably just recurring night terrors and lots of really bad nightmares. And my sleeping has been weird. There's these drugs. I'm sorry, I'm still talking, aren't I?
It's all right, and you need more drugs. But well,
No, we're we're all full up here, thanks.
um, did you tell Bannon?
I said a lot of things at Manon. I remember most of them.
So she knows about you both?
Yeah, yeah, as much. Well, not as much as a lot. Some.
He's he hasn't been around. Have you heard from him?
Things have been weird since the Leviathan.
I mean, it was that Leviathan that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he's been quiet since?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't heard anything from him.
Oh, oh,
Sia lies, obviously.
oh, obviously. Ah. Well, okay. Well, as long as that's yeah. Um, let's eat. I said something the other day. You may remember it was Radiant there, but it was you there, and I may have said something that started with I. Ended with you.
Yeah, no, things have been, like I said, busy. I'd sort of. Did you want to talk about that?
Maybe a little.
Cool.
But only if you want to.
No, I guess. Okay. Sure. Sure. Yep. Sure.
I know it's not fair for me to like put a whole bunch of emotion that you just don't have the same reference to that I do. But if you're willing, I'd like for us to spend time together, and maybe the things I remember you'll enjoy doing with me, and maybe maybe we'll find that we have other stuff we enjoy doing that I never even that I haven't done before, and just like hang out.
Okay, so there have been a lot of weird things in my life recently. So I haven't had a time to process a lot of this, so I'm sorry if this is just sort of me thinking, but it's sort of like you were dating my twin brother, who then
Well, that sounds
suddenly
gross.
died, or no, not died. Moved to another colony, Europe colony, moved to somewhere else. And now you're suggesting that we go on dates to the your favorite restaurant with him and go see the movies that he liked.
Okay, it does sound awful and creepy, I know.
And I'm not it's not it's a difficult situation. I understand difficult
No,
situations.
yeah, it's really
But I'm not him.
no, 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 of course, no, of course you're not him.
Okay, cool. I mean, it's just I can't live up to something that just lives in your head. I'm someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, of course. Yes, yes, yes.
But we should figure out our own relationship, friendship, whatever.
whatever. But you're interested in trying that?
I mean, we could hang out sometime. Just, not like I said. I don't really want to go on someone else's. I mean, you get that, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah, yes. Obviously, I do. Um, I'm sorry. I know it's awkward.
No, it's fine. You said you had those surgery videos.
And I think that's where we cut that particular scene. Mannon.
Think I think that I'm going to head down to see the other team of pilots. But as I'm going, I do stop and I knock on Savi's door and I go, "Don't forget to call your sweetheart." And then I keep on walking.
Zavi?
Yeah, I think it's I think I just yelled, yeah, I know, just and like I have the phone in my hand. So
Okay. So we have that kind of set up for next time. Anything
Mhm.
else you want to add in before we close out, Landon?
Yeah, I do think that she goes down to see the other pilots. But there's that thing where she she's sort of she asks how things went. If they have questions about like their thing or anything, and they probably don't. She doesn't have any sense of them being particularly interested in her stuff. But she will kind of, how do you say? She will watch till there's a time when she can single out Torin.
Absolutely. And I think you can catch him like in between those moments with the others. They are a little more recovered from where they were before. But you can catch Torin there. Probably when one of the doctors comes in to take Crow back up to the med bay to do another round of work on her eye sockets.
And how's Lennis doing?
She looks like she is just barely holding it together. In fact, probably you will see when that is done that Quora, like rather than coming and tracking you down to poke at you, is taking Lenneth off to work with her.
All right. So she'll let him start on his thing and then she'll follow, like right behind. She does a thing where she's matching his footsteps. Until he get far enough away that she knows that no one will hear them, and she will go, "How are they doing?"
We're holding together.
How are you doing?
We're still here. We had a couple of And he'll kind of look over at where Sandal is and we'll say, we had a couple of people that we had been in training to fill out our ranks who got killed. And I don't think Lenneth has come to terms with that. And I'm not sure where Alyssa's at. And you see him stop and you see him look at you and you can tell he has heard something. You're not sure what, but he's heard something about Radiant, about Sia. You're not sure which one. And he is stop and he thinks and he doesn't ask.
Mhm.
He says, how is the girl?
I don't know how your first mission out was. Mine, my engine knew me already. Was solicitous, helped me as much as it could. Her engine is traumatized and certain that it's going to die and fights her with every move. She managed to hold together. Needed a little bit of a rescue, but got herself back here under her own control. She's a better pilot than I was the first few times.
Can't afford to lose anybody else now. I heard them talking about trying to put some experimental implants in Soren and strapping him into our spare engine. But Alyssa told them that Alyssa said that they couldn't do that.
For Soren? Or for the team?
I think that Alyssa think that Soren's done enough. He lost his friend, lost his partner, and he's had to sit on the sidelines. But that's all for the good at this point.
He flew with us. We went to get the other engines. He ended up not needing to deploy. I was glad to have him with me. He still got the chops. Which sort of stops, maybe he and Sandoval could work together. I don't know. That's if he wants to. I don't think he should be back in a engine.
Stands up and he says, I should go. There was a moment in that fight. We were watching you guys when we were doing our stuff. And we thought you were all going to die. Like we saw all of your engines go out of control.
It pulled us out, pulled our minds out into like these little scenarios that were supposed to make us despair. Tried to catch us and kill us. But like just kill ourselves.
There she go. Captain.
And she goes, scrub your engine.
By your command.
Just turned on her heel and got the other way.
And I think that's where we're going to stop. We will be coming back with the next cycle for the last 2 missions, another tier 2 of some kind, and then a tier 3. Tier 3 is a strike back at the Leviathans to try and get some breathing room. So we will see what comes of that. Let's have everybody take 3 XP for this session to kind of to help us make up for earlier losses and to kind of go on to that. And when we come back in a few months, we will talk special abilities and figure things out. Let's talk just quick stars. We'll talk wishes when we come to active play in a few months. Before we come into the game, we'll look at our setup and we'll calibrate and figure out like what we want to do, set those wishes then. But I'd like to talk stars either for this session or the last couple of sessions or the series as a whole. I will go back Catan style. Sherry.
I sort of love the snarl and confusion around Radiant and Sia and what's going on, that it's just as confusing for Sia, for Tavi, and for Manon, and now for Zabi as well. So top Octavius. I'm sorry, Octavius, top, Zabi, yeah, Radiant, Manon, all of us confused. We don't know what's going on. And we all have different suspicions about what's going on. And I don't think any of us is right. So there you go. I think we're doomed. It was lovely and confusing and just exactly like if you were watching the manga or the anime, you'd be like, oh, what is it? Which one is it? And something terrible is going to happen that will reveal what's really going on. So I don't know. It's pretty awesome. I really love Zabi's character turns this time. It was very good. I think Cora and Zabi were a good matchup of scene for that. It was pretty funny, pretty good. Exactly what you want, a sort of little check-in that was sort of from the heart, and also just showing that Zabi's got more control over what's going on. And it's good to see. So that felt forward. I love to see Octavius' story moving forward, and having those beautiful moments of embarrassment. Very nice. Very good. It was a good set of things, and I'm looking forward to the next time. And we're all going to be thinking about things for the shrines, right? So that sounds like fun too. So
Yeah. Tyler.
This is all, the series has been very interesting. I love the other, beyond space villains of the Leviathans. And you have consistently made them so weird, and there's an internal consistency often with like the way they choose to attack, their types of things. They've all had a kind of personality to them, and that's been cool. I like the build of the flagship and the how we deal with our group stuff, and as far the game itself is interesting. I have some things that I'm like, I wish were a little different, and maybe if we ever come to a total analysis of game, I'll bring that up. But playing with y'all, any game's going to be great. And this game is certainly not bad. It is a good game with lots of cool shit to it. So I'm very, very pleased with how the campaign has run thus far. For us, I think it's been great to see the stories develop for everyone and the character growth. All of us have had really nice character growth and laid some things out in neat ways. Patrick, it has been brilliant to watch you and do the Sia Radiant. So many images still stick with me, like the after the horrible battle and Radiant, calming you down as you start drawing in bed. That image that was there was really neat. The kind of Radiant as protector moving into something more dark and worrisome has been so interesting. Just excellent. Zavi, watching the confidence and the purpose grow in the character has been tremendous. And I really think when we brought in that new pilot, we saw something. Ethan, you grabbed hold and have often done seeds and things with them, Sandal, that have enriched Zavi so much. And I mean, honestly, there's the sort of thing of, is the character growth becoming the hero transfer? But that's not been important to watching the growth of Zavi. Zavi has become a hero regardless of transcendence. And that has been very interesting to watch. Just well played, very nice growth. And Manon's the sort of leader I want to follow. Manon is such a wonderful, she's a wonderful person, but such a good leader. And that, when we started off, the idea that Manon had just had to be put into that role, did not know where she was. And as we get to the end, there's no doubt of who leads this group, who this group goes to talk to, who is, the kind of beacon of inspiration for this group. And to have that as a journey, just exquisite, Sherry. Just lovely to watch that get done. And every time you're in a scene with someone, the warmth of Manon always comes out. And that is just lovely. So it's been a heck of a great run. And like I say, Lowell, you have kept this thing very tense, very interesting, and you've given us freedom to cause our problems, but you've also brought in some really tense things to, tighten that vice. And it's just been wonderful.
Yeah, I will say I wasn't sure about this. Like I knew I wanted to do it, and I knew when I'm gonna play it, and I read through the PDF. And even when we came into session one, you talked about some of the mechanical things we were worried about, the whole so few dots and things like that. And this game has answered like all of those issues that I had. Like I've really enjoyed it. It is really good. It has been another one of those cappers of this year of where if you had asked me in 2022, what do you think of Forged in the Dark? I would be like, yeah, Forged in the Dark is fine. I've had an okay time running Forged in the Dark. I've run Blades, I've run Scum and Villainy, all these things. But it's been this game and Mountain Home that have blown me out of the water and have really made Forged like do things in the way that I was hoping it would. So yeah, I've really loved this system. So shocked at how much I've enjoyed it. Ethan.
Yeah, stars to the incredibly awkward, kind of one-sided date there. Because yeah, I really thought both characters came out in there, and the situation was like, I'm not sure how there could be a more awkward situation than that. So stars for making it every bit as awkward as it should have been. I cringed and also laughed. So and also felt kind of bad for both characters. And yeah, the whole Manon being responsible, and then also like, I don't know what you're talking about, so I can't rat you out. Let me see what you have. I really enjoy the moments when we get to see Manon kind of bend her principles a tiny bit, just enough to get to like enjoy something. Yeah. It's always fun to see. And yeah, I like seeing these characters. I like this game is good at doing the thing that Forged in the Dark is bad at doing, which is like encouraging character interaction in downtime and not just going off on your own to hurry up and indulge your vice while you can. So that's part of the game and part of this group. But I really enjoyed all of the like downtime and free play scenes, through the whole campaign between these PCs. Were all really enjoyable, and like I feel like this is a really good like season finale kind of, leaving some things open, wrapping a few things up, kind of, I feel like there was a little bit of a shift in all of the characters. So awesome.
I would say you put it, one of the things is there's a very basic change that Girl by Moonlight makes mechanically that has a huge implication, which is this concept that it's a little bit like, this is a dumb analogy, but Final Fantasy 13, which is a game that I love. Final Fantasy 13 took away health potions and stuff, took away all of those healing things. Instead, you got everything back at the end of each fight. The trick was that each fight was tight and hard, and you could get knocked out, and so you really had to do it. And switching it such that you don't have to worry about clearing stress at the end. That's out from downtime. You have a set of resources, and they can get tightened by some things, and you know what that tick is, and it creates a very different direction for the push-pull, and I think a good one. Like it changes things, and thinking about how that could be applied to other Forge games is really interesting. Like and I think there maybe some of the issues with Mountain Home about having to deal with the stress. Like I think there's a direction to go in that uses that approach. I think it's such a clever switch of the state that I think would never have occurred to me. Never in a million years with that
just
design
take
element.
it off. Like that's the thing that, it doesn't seem like you should be able to do that and still have it feel like a Forged in the Dark game, but no, just remove all the stress, and that actually like takes out a big problem with
Yeah.
Forged in the Dark games.
Makes it a resource. It makes it a tight one. You're
Mhm.
pushing against that
Mhm.
eclipse. You're having to make some tough calls. And I think it creates more tension, but even more playability because the links help with that. The links help offset that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like you've got
yeah.
this great
Yeah.
the economy there is very well tuned.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree. We played Mountain Home earlier, and the idea of like really tightening up the resource of like limited downtime actions and how that played out. I thought, oh, this is really cool, but kept tripping over the stress thing. And coming in here and combining that like ticking down clock of the limited downtime actions, but just clearing out that stress stuff most of the time.
Yeah.
Perfect combination.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The building of lakes, it works. It works just like it does in Night Witches, where like it just, okay, you're trying to build up as many links as possible in between missions, so that you survive the next mission, and it forces a lot of interaction between characters.
That's very cool. Patrick, I'll give you the last word here.
Yes. This game was so cool, both in the story and character and emotion end of things, and also just like discovering the game Girl by Moonlight and exploring it has just been wonderful. Um, over the series, we talked about a bunch of things, but I've really liked the evolving mythology and world building around the Leviathans and this weird dead god stuff and these new pieces of gods and all these like possibilities for the future. And I love how the Leviathans have gotten increasingly more and more personal as we've gone through them. They dig into a particular character's things, or they dig into some unresolved question that we keep having about the world or about ourselves or whatever, and it feels like they're just getting more and more pointed in a really great way. For this stuff, I thought this session here, I thought that like confusing and chaotic and unknown attack on the Bastion, like off-screen attack on the Bastion, was really cool. You went into it, and I hadn't actually seen that little sub rule before. I was looking through and like seeing how cool it was and how we just hit the absolute worst end of it. But then that rolled into the story, and I love that like controlled state information suppression. We still don't know exactly what happened while we were away, sort of thing. Even when we moved out of that lockdown state, and that was a great setting thing that we often treat ourselves like we are the most important and powerful part of the setting, and that is just not even remotely true from anyone else's point of view. Um, and so it was cool to see a thing where like, oh, they just turned off all our phones and the internet and all the computers, and we genuinely can't do anything. We're just gonna, I guess, sit here and wait to be told what happened. um, I thought all of the talk and theorizing and fear mongering around Radiant and Sia, Radiant in particular, was just great this time. It was so cool to hear everybody's theories about it, or everybody's like particular fears about it. I got to put out some things from Sia's point of view, but like that is still all very much just theorizing. He doesn't know what's going on. I don't entirely know what's going on. It's all weird and new and unknown. Um, but it was just cool to see like all the different like the villagers are gossiping about the troubles sort of scenes of people talking about Radiant, and again, those fears you planted in everybody's head last time with that like evil Radiant figure was so perfect, and just like led to such a great tone for this. That little scene between Zavi and Koro was just great. It was perfect. It was so funny. Korra is amazing, and I love how Zavi has grown into the sort of person that can like sort of go back and forth with her, not entirely be bowled over by Korra, but like sort of stand up to them, and that's part of that growth we've seen from the beginning to now. The worst date ever was I felt so bad, but also like I feel like I need to say something for Sia here. But also I think very much a thing that would need to happen in the story. Like
Mhm.
if there is ever going to be any sort of parity in a relationship, it has to start sort of from zero. And then just I really like how Manon is becoming more and more of a leader, not not just of us. Like we saw those first steps of Manon like taking sort of leadership and solid control of the group, and then that expansion of like Sandal and the people that were like working into the group, and now even that like she's almost taking responsibility for the other team as well, and sort of moving into a sort of like supporting position that I could see moving into a leadership position over the other wing. And like she's just naturally taking more and more people under her responsibility and protection, which I'm sure will never burn her, but was a really like great character strength moment in this episode. I'm gonna stop babbling.
Now, I think one of the things it does suggest is we have not yet seen what an eclipse for Tav or Manon might look like. I think that's an open question here. Thank you all so much. I am going to stop the recording